Venezuela, a country located in South America, was never fully controlled or governed by German bankers. However, there was a brief period in the early 20th century when German financiers had significant influence in the country's economy. In 1902, Venezuela defaulted on its foreign debt, which led to a blockade of its ports by several European powers, including Germany. The blockade was lifted after Venezuela agreed to pay off its debts and allowed foreign banks, including German ones, to take control of the country's finances. One of the most prominent German bankers in Venezuela during this period was Max Gunther, who arrived in the country in 1911. Gunther was instrumental in the development of the country's oil industry, which had just been discovered a few years earlier. He helped to form the Venezuelan American Company, which later became Exxon Mobil, and was also involved in the construction of the country's first oil pipeline. Gunther was not the only German banker in Venezuela at the time. Other German banks, such as Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank, also had significant investments in the country's economy, particularly in the agricultural and mining sectors. However, the influence of German bankers in Venezuela was short-lived. With the outbreak of World War I in 1914, many Germans in Venezuela were forced to leave the country or were interned in prison camps. German investments in the country also suffered, as the war disrupted trade and commerce. After the war, Venezuela nationalized its oil industry and took steps to reduce foreign influence in its economy. German investments in the country never fully recovered, and today, Venezuela's economy is primarily driven by its oil exports. In conclusion, while German bankers had some influence in Venezuela's economy during the early 20th century, it was a brief and limited period. The influence of German bankers was primarily focused on the country's oil industry and was disrupted by the outbreak of World War I. Today, Venezuela's economy is no longer controlled by foreign bankers, and the country's primary source of revenue is its oil exports.